Problem is, can you get the American people to say this is really important and force their representatives to do the right thing? That requires mobilizing a citizenry. That requires them understanding what is at stake. And climate change is a great example. When I was asked earlier about the issue of coal, under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. Even, regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad, because I'm capping greenhouse gases, coal power plants, natural gas, you name it, whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers.
You just heard it. Obama is saying that electricity prices would go up in price if the cap and trade tax was implemented, and these power plants would have to retrofit their plants to cause the carbon emissions to go down, and this retrofitting would cost a lot of money, and they would pass this on to the consumer, and so that would cause electricity prices to go up. Oil refineries would have to do things to reduce their carbon emissions. That would cause gasoline prices for your car to go up in price, oil for your car to go up in price. This is even the main issue. Sure, you're going to have to pay a lot in electricity. Instead of paying 8 cents per kilowatt hour, you'd have to pay 20, maybe 30 cents per kilowatt hour. Gasoline, it'd be like you're in Europe, but probably even more expensive, $6 to $8 a gallon for gas. So even though they're, quote, going after the evil corporations, which is what the progressives like to talk about, especially to young people, to manipulate young people's minds and show them that corporations are these evil things, it's really based on greed and envy. And the young people don't have, and then the professors in college teach them that these corporations are evil, and they put that into their heads. And since these young people haven't really been involved with the economy for very long, they buy into that. Corporations are evil, which is completely wrong. And then so when the corporation has to retrofit their power plant and then pass that cost on because of thin margins they already have to the consumer, all of a sudden they're evil also for making the consumer pay 20, maybe 30 cents per kilowatt hour. Well, that doesn't make any sense. There's a free market system in place. So if you've got several oil refineries, you've got several power plants, that free market system causes prices to decrease in price as competition takes place. So there isn't any price fixing, and their margins are thin to begin with. So they're not these greedy evil corporations charging you 30 cents per kilowatt hour and making and 25% and 25 cents of that is profit. That's not what's going on. Their margins are very thin, and the reason the cost goes up is simply because of that retrofitting they have to do to reduce carbon emissions. On top of that, this cap and trade thing, it's really not about helping the environment. Cap and trade is really a massive energy tax. It's going to create trillions of dollars in new taxes. Imagine everybody having to pay 20-30 cents per kilowatt hour for the electricity and $8 a gallon for their gasoline and things like that. At the gas pump right now, about half or more of what you pay when you put that gasoline into your car are taxes already. So when gasoline goes up to $8, just imagine how much more of that is going to be additional taxes. And so the consumer isn't even aware that they're already paying an exorbitant amount of taxes on their gasoline. But they do this. They hide these taxes in such a way, and they disguise it with this noble deed of we're going to protect the environment. But really, this carbon emissions thing, just like the whole aerosols are going to eat up the ozone layer, is all a big sham to take in additional tax monies in the disguise of doing something noble. And now you don't even hear anything about the ozone layer and the aerosol cans somehow creating this gigantic hole in the atmosphere, because the ozone layer hole is actually closed back up. Same thing with this whole carbon pollution thing causing global warming. That's still open for debate, but for the time being, those who say that global warming isn't happening are the dumb hillbillies, and just people who aren't willing to think, that aren't educated. That's what the progressives want you to think. And then those who believe in global warming have done the research, they're listening to the scientists and that sort of thing, when really that's not really the case. There's scientists who believe in global warming, and there's scientists who don't. But the scientists who believe in global warming have created a public perception, have gotten the news media on their side, and have created this thing so that it seems like science is on the side of global warming, but that's not really the case. So what is this carbon tax really going to do? It's going to create one of the most massive taxes in U.S. history. It will not make a substantive impact on the environment, just like the whole regulation over aerosol cans and that sort of thing didn't cause the ozone layer hole to close back up. That just happened naturally. It's going to kill jobs. It will cause your electricity bills, like I said, to skyrocket, which Obama just said in the video. It will cause gas prices to sharply increase. It will outsource manufacturing jobs and hurt free trade. It will make you choose between energy, groceries, clothing, and haircuts. This is going to affect the average consumer. It will be highly susceptible to fraud and corruption. It's going to be a slush fund. It's going to be trillions of dollars, just like your Social Security has been raided and completely depleted by the government and used for other things. This trillions of dollars in taxes, the government, what they do is they spend more than they have, and once they've spent more than they have, then they'll come over here to the carbon slush fund taxes, which will have trillions of dollars in it, and they'll take out of that and use it for whatever they want to use it for. And so what it'll end up being is just another tax disguised as trying to help the environment, which is ridiculous. But all the young people and the professors in college buy into this and think they're very educated, and they end up buying into a complete sham. It's going to hurt senior citizens. It's going to hurt the poor and the unemployed the worst. In no way is this going to be a good thing. It's going to cost the average American families over $3,000 a year, and President Obama admitted that electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket under a cap and trade program. He did this in January 2008. So I hope this will give you some idea of what cap and trade is, and how it's a massive tax, and how this type of thing turns into a slush fund that isn't even used for its intended purpose, just like we saw with Social Security. And so don't fall for the lie. We're not even talking about global warming, the science behind global warming right now. We're really talking more about the lie about saying they're going to use this to reduce global warming, when really they're going to rate it and use this money for other things. And you watch. Believe me, it will happen.